I think I'd always wanted to be a GP. Since medical school, it had been something I've been very interested in, and all the people who taught us who were GPs taught us about the things that I thought were important to patients. So we learnt about communication, we learnt about people's whole lives, their family, where they live, where they're from, and dealing with the patient as a whole person, not just a problem that they've come in with. I did a GP placement during my F2 year, and I particularly chose that at the start of the F2 year because I thought I wanted to be sure that that was definitely for me. And I worked in a practice where the trainers were inspiring, and I loved the interaction with the patients, and by the end of the 4 months I really didn't want to leave because I got to know the patients, I got to feel part of the practice, and I knew then that was definitely what I wanted to do.
Why did I choose general practice? I think it's something I've been really interested in since medical school, but it's just, there's such a variety within it. It's like reading 30 different novels in a day for me, I think. It's just the range of people you meet with a range of different health problems, a range of experiences, and range of, it's just that I love to know a little bit about a lot of things rather than lots about one or two small tiny things. Again, I loved it at medical school, but I think partly being an older person coming into medicine, it did start to make more sense. Once I got it, to know the realities of a day-to-day job, of the working life of a medic, and the on-calls that you have in hospitals, and the long hours, and the lack of flexibility over your own schedule, then actually the more practical parts of GP started to appeal a bit more. So I think towards the end of foundation, well, towards the middle of foundation programme, it really did start to show its appeal.
I think general practice for me was something that I was always interested in. I'd had the opportunity to experience it as a student, and I think that really set the tone for what I wanted to achieve in my career. I think one of the main reasons I chose a career in general practice was not only the job itself, which for me is an all-encompassing job that you are involved in, but also the flexibility that it allowed for me to undertake other responsibilities aside from undertaking my day job. So there was lots of reasons why I felt general practice was a career suited to me. The depth, the breadth of work, the seeing of patients and treating of families and diseases was some of the more pertinent reasons. When I was going through medical school, I was considering which career path I would want to follow. General practice always featured quite highly amongst that for the individual and personality that I was. I chose to undertake placements or self-selected components at medical school, and then also my foundation programme that would give me that breadth of exposure. And I think it was having undertaken it both as an undergraduate and then initially as part of foundation training that everything was confirmed for me that general practice was the career of my choice.
I think it was the natural career choice for me. It was from when I went to medical school, it was what I assumed a doctor was. It was the only sort of contact I'd had really with the medical profession growing up. So it was kind of what I applied to medical school with a view to doing. And that never really changed throughout medical school. It was just the natural thing that I felt like I wanted to do. And the bit of everything, not being hemmed into one particular career avenue that would become more and more narrow potentially, and trying to keep things quite broad and generalist really. When was general practice for me? I guess, like I said, it was what I went to medical school to do, and although other careers appealed to me for short periods of time while I might have been doing a training placement in them, it always came back as the placement proceeded that I wanted to be more generalist, and that actually that limiting my breadth of practice down to one branch of medicine was going to be not what I wanted to do. So.